Alright guys, welcome to my classroom. So, today we're going to recap a little bit on our indelible moments. So, who can tell me what an indelible moment is? Who remembers? What does the word indelible mean? Unforgettable. Yes, good. Okay, awesome. So, let's keep thinking about that. So, last week we did some indelible moments on in our journal entries on indelible gifts, indelible phone conversations, and indelible dinners. So who remembers maybe one of theirs that you wanted to share, either read from your journal or what was an indelible moment that you can remember that you wrote about?
Does it have to be sad or happy, or can it just be like something that we remember, like really vividly?
Just something like either a gift or a phone conversation or like a dinner, like a meal that you had. Is there one that comes to your mind?
Before I left for college, my mom gave me a necklace that says near or far on it.
Okay.
And so it was like, it kind of hangs like right above my heart. So like when I wear it, I know like she's there with me, like no matter where I go.
Yeah.
And that was a really memorable gift for me.
That's awesome. Okay, I love that. Okay, so then today, what we're going to be doing, I want to tap into maybe a little bit more. So we're talking about indelible moments, and then a few weeks ago, I know that we talked about abstract and concrete concepts. So who remembers what an abstract concept was?
It's something you can't hold in your hand.
Something you can't hold in your hand, right? So I'm going to give you guys like about 15 seconds or so. Get with your partner and come up with a few examples of that, and then we're going to share them in just a second. So get with your partner.
Happy and sad. You can't hold those things. Like emotions.
Yeah, emotions.
Okay. So what were some examples that we came up with? Who wants to share?
We talked about like how happy and just in general emotions, you can't hold those in your hand.
Yeah, you can't hold happiness. You can't hold what else? What's another emotion? Sadness. Yeah, sadness. Maybe like anger, right? Yeah, those are all good examples. I love it. What about concrete concepts? What would be an example? What's the definition of that?
Something that you can hold.
Something that you could hold in your hand, right? So I'm going to give you guys about like 10 or 15 seconds. Give me a few more examples of concrete concepts. You guys come talk about it, and then we'll discuss it again in just a second.
So like any object.
Yeah, any object. Pen.
So what would be some examples, girls?
Your pen.
Your pen, okay. So write a few down. What are like a few objects maybe that you even see around you right now?
A backpack.
Chairs.
Cool.
Water bottle.
Awesome. Okay. So backpacks, chairs, water bottles, car keys, things that you can hold in your hand, right? So what we're actually going to be doing today in our writing time, while we're practicing and getting ready for the STAR test, is you are going to be combining your indelible moments with an abstract concept, okay? So what I mean by that is we're going to, like this outline that we have, you are going to, at the top of it, write a truism. So before we even get here, though, I want you to think about which indelible moment that you want to write about. So pick one of your three, maybe that you've written about in your journal entries, which one. And then I want you to start thinking about an abstract concept that would go with it. So whether you think that would be love, if you think it would be faith, if you think it would be obedience, whatever abstract concept that you think would go the best. It could be strength. What goes best with your indelible story. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to write those ideas down, and then we'll talk about our outline that we're going to be working on today. So you'll go ahead and start that. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, I'm going to hand you guys papers. They're blank. But you guys are going to fill them in. So, just like this outline that we have here, and I think that I also added one on Blackboard. But this is your outline. So, at the very top, you're going to come up with your truism. Who remembers what truisms are? Do you remember?
It's like a definition thing.
Yeah, it's like a fact about it. So it could be a definition, but it's also like a fact that you would share about that truism. So, about that abstract concept. So you could say, for me, whenever I wrote mine, I would say, grace is something that you never know that, grace is something that you don't know that you need until it's been given to you. That's what I wrote for my simple truism. It can be a simple statement. That was honestly a lot of words for a simple truism. You could condense it even more. But it's just like one sentence, a fact about your abstract concept. So that's what you'll put up top, okay? Then, in these hearts, what you're going to do is this one's for your indelible moment. So you're going to give your indelible moment a title. So I would put my ticket experience right here. Then on this side right here, are you guys tracking with me so far? Okay. Right here, you're going to give like a 1-sentence summary of what that moment was. So for me, mine was my ticket experience. So I might say, when I got pulled over and I called my dad, I was given grace for my ticket and I felt forgiven. That's my summary statement of basically what happened, all in one sentence, right? But then these boxes down here are your heart truisms, okay? They're for your heart, and it's this side. So what you're going to do right here is you are going to come up with a truism that specifically relates to this moment, this indelible moment right here. So what that would look like is, for me, I might say, grace makes people feel forgiven, okay? Because a truism is a fact, it's not specific to me. So I'm not saying, grace made me feel forgiven. We're talking about people in general. It's like a fact. Because if I said grace made me feel forgiven, that's my opinion. But you want people to know the fact, the truth is. And this is your proof. So, hey, we're doing it. It's okay. You're good. So then over here, you're going to use a book or a movie example. And so right here, what you'll do is you'll think of, what's a movie that kind of proves this truism to be true? So for me, if I'm talking about grace still, what I would say is I might think of one of my favorite movies would be The Little Mermaid. So I would talk about Ariel and her relationship with her dad and how whenever she left the ocean, to find love, that might have broken his heart in the moment whenever he found out about that. But was he ultimately willing to accept her back into the family? Was he mad at her at the end of the movie? No, he wasn't, and he still made her feel accepted. So I would write, in The Little Mermaid, Ariel's dad makes her feel loved and accepted into the family. So then, in my truism box, what might be a truism that I might write about that? About grace. What do you guys think? What do we see here?
You're still accepted even if you mess up.
So grace can make people feel accepted. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that, Megan. That would be a great truism for right here. So then, in the very bottom, what you're going to do is you're going to combine this truism with these two truisms, okay? So you're going to come up with a big summary statement that ties it all together. Now, when I say that you're doing a summary statement, I don't mean that you're just going to, take all the sentences and put them together into one big run-on sentence. You're going to rephrase them where we're going to know, oh, okay, so this is what this whole thing was about, right? It's going to be like the summary statement that combines it all. But that doesn't mean copying it. It's going to be a little bit of rewording, okay? So if you guys need some help with that, definitely ask. Is that making sense to you guys so far?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay, so you guys are going to work on that for the rest of the class time. Once you finish with that, you're going to go ahead and get started on your essay. So come show me your outline. And then if I approve it and I say, hey, you're good to go and get started on your essay, then you will get started and we'll start working on that. But go ahead and work on your outline for right now. Yeah, go ahead and get started on that.
What's the first truism for?
It's the simple truism. So it's your overall simple statement.
So what's the difference between that one and the final one?
The final one that's a great question. You're combining these truisms and this one all together first. So this one should be kind of shorter, almost in a sense.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be longer and more. You're going to tie in the details of the other ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Which, if this was a normal classroom environment, I would have those examples written out and printed for you guys. But this is a dorm room classroom, so I don't have that printed out for you. But in our class, we had some examples for them printed.
Okay, I'm done.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check it in just 1 second. Okay. Let's see. Perfect. I love it. Where's your truisms for these, though?
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we tie those in here.
Yeah.
So, since you've already written this down here, maybe your
Then
truisms.
yeah.
Yeah. But actually, what you'll do later, once you're finished with that, is you'll highlight, which we don't have highlighters right now, but if we did have highlighters, you would highlight from this truism, you'd highlight both of
The
these
important
truisms.
parts and then make this
And
one.
then in this, you're going to highlight what you pulled from this and what you pulled from this.
Yeah.
So that we are able to tell, oh, she pulled this from this example and this part of the truism from this example. And so that way it shows that you're really doing it. No, this is good. The only thing you're missing was your simple truism.
Oh, so you do one up there too?
Yeah, you do one up top too. So your bottom is awesome. The only thing that you're missing though is your simple thing. So if you can come up with one of those, then you're good to start on your essays. So yeah. And then So basically, after they're done with their outlines, they would start on their essays, and we'd work on that for the class period. And at the end of the class period, I will have them go find 2 friends to like read through their outline and their essay. Basically, they're going to be telling them, they're actually not reading through it, they're just going to be telling them, this is what my abstract concept is, and these are the examples that I used. So they can tell about their indelible moment, they can tell about a book or movie example, but once they've shared that with 2 people in the class that were not at their table, or not like in their side of the classroom, depending on what the classroom layout is, then they will go and have those 2 students sign, basically, like, okay, I heard what this person needed to say, and that's like their exit ticket is having the 2 friends' signatures. So, and that's pretty much the lesson. It would obviously be longer if it was a full classroom and there was lots of students, and if my students were not such diligent college workers, it would have taken more time. But anyways, that's the lesson. So let me know what you think. Bye.